Hello, everybody, and pre-warning, strap yourself the fuck in. This is going to be Squared Triangle, where we will be talking about WrestleMania. We're going to be doing both nights.
It'll be an extra, probably half hour of an episode for you guys as we go through both nights
Especially
of WrestleMania.
as we go on tangents.
Yeah.
There was a lot that went on, so...
And for placing this, we are recording this on Wednesday again before Dynamite airs, so if anything crazy happens with stuff tonight, unfortunately we won't be able to talk about that until next pay-per-view. So, because we don't have the time to watch wrestling week per week to do shows.
I'm not getting paid for it, unfortunately.
If we were getting paid for it, I don't think I'd have the time and energy to join the IWC as a podcaster.
Need to join. IWC's got me fucked up. They can kick rocks.
Yeah, so we're just talking from the perspective of fans.
Let's start, but let's talk about kind of overall for both nights.
Mm-hmm. Night one was great. What did you think? It had night one had the low points at times, but it was still good. And then night two, I think, was
had both the best and worst match for me.
Yeah, it had its high and its low, and then day two was just almost like perfect throughout the whole event. Mm-hmm. This was a fun fact because I did look it up. This is the last WrestleMania on the WWE Network. Next year's WrestleMania would be on Netflix with their deal going through. This is the first WrestleMania that is done by TKO instead of the McMahon family, and it shows. It really shows. And it's definitely, as they're marking it up, post event and everything, this is a new era of WWE, and the quality has already gotten there.
Yeah, and they're just
We'll talk about some of that when we get to Sami Zayn and Gunther, because that Sami Zayn's entrance was godlike.
Yeah, and
it wasn't even like big.
And one more thing about this new era that's going on, you can clearly tell that they are taking some chances here with production, and it's working out.
Yeah, absolutely.
In his favor.
So let's just hop right into this since we have 14 matches to talk about. Some probably more in depth than others. Banker. Yeah, we start night one with Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. A very short build to this match. I think we could all kind of see where this was going. I don't think they were going to rip the title off of Rhea for a few weeks of a build with Becky. Not a bad match. It didn't feel like 17 minutes. It's like for some
I thought it was a pretty good match.
It was a pretty good paced match.
Motionless and White sang Rhea Ripley in.
Yeah.
I called that the white boy jump scare because
white boy jump scare.
White boy jump scare. That guy.
Yeah. So Rhea had Motionless and White, one of her favorite bands, apparently, do music for her intro. Becky's intro was more of just her normal one, but she had a very David Bowie-esque makeup going on.
Yeah.
And I think like leading into this too, it's this weird space because reports coming out that Becky has not signed a new contract. So I don't know if this is just like her going through the motion of having a match, maybe knowing that after everything for WrestleMania, her and Seth might get time off. We'll get to Seth Rollins, and he left this weekend beat to hell pretty much.
Oh yeah, he is the whipping boy all
so
weekend.
if they're getting some time off, I can see this kind of just being a match to get her on the card to put Rhea over. At this point, Rhea has pinned all of the four horsewomen
before going.
Yeah, Rhea has pinned all four of the horsewomen, so it's definitely like another like building up of her. And Monday, post WrestleMania, we did see that the Liv feud is back on after Liv jumped her backstage.
Liv almost killed her with that throne chair.
Yeah, the chair throw was a little rough, but I'm glad to see we're back on track with Liv finally coming for revenge on Rhea again.
It's the revenge tour.
Yeah, it was the revenge tour.
For her.
I would say, like, for a championship match, this was a very basic match. when you compare it to everything else on the card. This just went through the motions, did what it needed to do, gave Rhea her like star power going into the weekend. And Becky's always going to perform well. So
Yeah, I think with Rhea, it's just it was just a tone setting match for the whole weekend. I guess I'm pretty sure that everybody was like, oh well, this is a decision to start with this match first, but it got the crowd hot, and it's pretty much about it. It's pretty much what it was supposed to do. So I ain't got a problem with it.
There are worse matches that could have gone on first, and we'll get to those.
Oh yeah, we'll get to those soon. We'll get to those later.
Any thoughts on this one, Deca?
Particularly, I liked it. Like you guys are saying, for what it was. I thought it was a really good match. I don't really think there was like a particular storyline in the ring that they were doing.
No, it was just a match.
It was a match, but I think it was a very competently done match.
Yes. Moving into
by two really good,
two really good performers. Moving into the next match, I feel like this one probably could have gone on first. Whenever we talk about these big multi-team, multi-man like ladder matches, we don't really have a lot of notes for these because they're just so all over the place with things. This is the six-pack tag team ladder match for the Undisputed Championship, where both sets of belts are suspended above the ring, and a team has to get a belt down, respectively, be their champion for SmackDown and Raw.
Thank God they split the titles.
They did. Yeah, and I kind of knew when they announced the rules for this match they were going to. It's just the winners were kind of surprising to me.
Yeah. So going into this, we had the teams of A-Town Down Under, which is Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, the Awesome Truth, who have reunited the Miz and R-Truth, who is a gift to this fucking company, and they should keep him as long as they can. Correct. Judgment Day, DIY, coming out rocking old school D-Generation X because they are literally like
Generation X.
They're their guys. The New Day and New Catch Republic, which is Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. Winners of this match, A-Town Down Under got the SmackDown title, and Awesome Truth gets the Raw titles. Interesting winner, at least for the SmackDown one. I feel like there's maybe another team or two that could have been a probably more expected choice. But I guess they are kind of going into this new era. So, hey, let's build these younger guys up, give them a title run, see how they can handle it. Yeah. And I feel like we might honestly be on like the R-Truth like going away tour now that Vince is gone. Because, him and Vince did have a very tight friendship and everything. So I think...
Say he has like a bad relationship with Hunter or whatever.
Yeah, not saying that, but I feel like a lot of R-Truth's focus almost has felt like a going away tour. Like with how much he's been focused.
And I guess they're just trying to give him his flowers before they send him off, which is, I appreciate that gesture so much. R-Truth is a national treasure, and he's been wildly entertaining the last year or so on Raw, so good on him, man.
Even on Monday,
they did this for him.
Even on Monday, you had Damian Priest and Rhea like holding up their titles, and R-Truth just kind of slid in with the Raw tag team title.
That was so good.
And it's just like
that was that salt in the wound. It was so good.
It was just so funny. And I appreciate Damian Priest just like playing it so straight with R-Truth, like not being the tough guy, just kind of like, what are you doing here? Like he's the straight man to R-Truth's comedy. This was a nice 17-minute match. Everybody got a real chance to shine. DIY had their ladder shenanigans with Ciampa hitting a sweet air raid off the top of the ladder with Tyler Bate.
And didn't Tyler Bate have like Finn Balor in an airplane spin on the ladder at one point?
Yes.
And that looked crazy. That kid is strong as hell.
Yeah.
And then he dropped the ladder and kept spinning.
Yeah, everybody kind of got their chance to shine, and it played out, I think, like a normal WWE 6-man ladder match would. You had the 3 ladder spots where everybody was like going up. You had the pushing to the outside. Pretty sure if we played this side by side with other matches, they'd kind of sync up. I feel like they have a formula.
It's more the same as usual. And as expected, you're going to know that somebody's going to interfere and that person's going to go through a table or a ladder or something. Yeah. So, yeah.
But they finally split the titles, which is the biggest thing. So going into this new era of WWE, we can have our titles back on each brand. They are about to do the draft again. So going to get a lot of new faces into the mix.
My only question is, are they going to keep the Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Championships as they are, or are they going to rebrand them like they did the other titles?
I could see them.
That's kind of what I was wondering.
I could see them probably down the line rebranding to the WWE Tag Team and then the World Tag Team, like they're doing like with their fucking branding. Because it's just, I don't think the name of your show is an appeasing title name. So
yeah.
But yeah, I had fun with this match. A lot of the guys in this match I like as performers, and there was some great moments. A lot of these guys have great chemistry together. So it's just a very fun title match after, the pretty basic, women's match at the start.
Little spot fest.
Yeah, this was the spot fest match for the most part.
Got to have at least one every day.
Yeah, and I mean, what did you guys think? Anything that stick out about this match for you guys?
I thought towards the end, where JD McDonough was going to get the titles or help Finn get the titles. I thought, well, yeah, makes sense. Give Judgment Day at least one of the titles. But that didn't happen, and I am always happy to be wrong about my predictions for matches. I had New Day and Judgment Day taking titles. Hell, I had Becky winning last match. So I'm a little surprised that she didn't, but it makes sense given how Seth was treated the rest of the weekend.
Yeah. Moving into the third match, I'm glad that this one went on night 1. I feel like with the momentum we had throughout night 2, this match would have just stalled it out a little bit. This was the Rey Mysterio and Andrade match versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio, otherwise known as WWE's How Many Hispanic Wrestlers Can We Fit in a Match? So
it turns out all of them
except for Damian Priest. He was in another match.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But I was just like,
and Cody Rhodes and Bayley.
It's almost, the thing is, it's not like even as a joke, like just for the performers. Like they had Cruz del Toro and Jaquan Wilde and Angel and Berto,
Joaquin.
like all at ringside. They had Elektra Lopez and Zelina Vega. They had Carlito there. Like, I think the only person really missing was Dragon Lee, but I think he's injured right now. So
if he's not injured, they fucked him up last
Friday. Feel like this is the match that they probably wanted Dragon Lee in, or he got injured or wherever he is right now. I feel like Dragon Lee fits better than Andrade in this situation.
For sure. I will say I am happy that they gave Andrade a space like immediately, because that was going to be a little awkward finding where to slot him in. So I'm glad they found a spot for him.
They did it at the Rumble. Once he arrived, Santos Escobar tried to, get all buddy with him in the Rumble. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. So it was there, but it's one of those things like Carlito was also pushed aside to get Andrade into his position. So it's like you're planting some more seeds for possible stuff down the line.
All right.
Yep. This match went for as long as it needed to. 11 minutes feels like a good time for this match. You had your usual spots. You had Wild doing that like Lois flying through the air spot that he does.
Yeah.
I showed that to my friend. I was like, the Lois going down the stairs. I'm like, this is how he flies through the air. The hands back, the legs. Like, this man's like Loising himself through the air onto everybody.
Honestly.
And I mean, babyfaces win at the end of it. Rey Mysterio and Andrade. You had the spot about to happen, but it was interrupted of Rey Mysterio whipping Dominic Mysterio. So a lot of callbacks to previous stuff between the two of them.
I mean, obviously, this match was what it was. It was the big Lucha showcase. WWE just wanted to put I guess, some of their best Lucha guys they can. I guess give them a little showcase. Everybody got a little bit of shine, and this probably was a cool down match. If I would be there, this is probably the match where I probably would have got up, got some stuff.
Yeah,
But
you're like, okay, this is just a classic babyface versus heel. I can go make myself
Yeah.
some dinner or something and
Yeah.
come back and not really miss a lot, of story going into this one.
yeah, like I think they did a lot more story build for this match. And I guess it just didn't translate as well into this match at all. It just felt really standard. But
Yeah,
they
this
did
was your
what they did.
this was your standard. Let's get some of our stars onto WrestleMania to fill the
Mhm.
card a bit. It's a classic babyface heel match.
They also get a good paycheck for being on WrestleMania.
They do.
Right.
So it's kind of like
I
everyone getting their bonus.
Oh,
Yeah.
and I forgot to mention about the tag team match. Y'all noticed Xavier was brought his Consequences Creed gear out.
Yeah.
So that was okay. So for the viewers who might not know, WrestleMania this year was in Philadelphia. So New Day came out looking like Rocky Balboa, and Xavier Woods came out looking like Apollo Creed, which is actually an old reference to his TNA persona, Consequences Creed. It was basically ripping off. I think so.
Yeah.
Truth and Consequences. Yeah, they were in TNA together.
Yep.
But he came out looking like Apollo Creed, which is Consequences Creed, and it was a nice little full circle, I think, for Xavier Woods. He's like, finally, I can pull this shit out of the gear back and wear this again. And then this match happened. So the fourth match of the night, 11 minutes. Yeah. So this just shows, I guess, how people can use their time. That tag match was 11 minutes, and there was a lot of action in it for what it was. And they gave Jimmy and Jey Uso 11 minutes, and my God, this match fucking sucked.
This was the most This was the most disappointing match of the weekend.
Yeah,
it really is.
I like Jey Uso's wrestling. I like
Jimmy Uso's
wrestling.
There was no animosity in this match. Like, for everything that they've been together over the last, year or so, maybe 6 months ever since, Jay left, 6 or 8 months or something. All this shit, Jimmy constantly fucking him over. There was just no aggression in this match.
Because the thing is, they had so much story build with this match. Like, the intensity of the story between these two, again, it was one of those things that did not translate to the match at all. Like, we got, I thought we were going to get a certified banger with these two, but the way they were coming off on TV. And
they kept swinging on each other. It was on sight.
Yeah, and it's like, it's just super kicks and like normal punches, and it's just like they're not even like doing real like spot stuff in this match either. It's just like, what the fuck? What happened?
Like both of them were just going through the motions in this match, and I didn't really like it at all.
The storyline that they had didn't translate super well to the match itself. I don't think this is a blow-off match, though. I think they're going to still beef.
I think they're going. I hope it's not a blow-off match. I hope they do a better match to finish whatever fucking feud this is. We have Backlash still.
Yep.
Yeah, we have Backlash still, so there could be a return to that. X, you've been watching WWE for a long time. Is this better or worse than Matt versus Jeff Hardy?
Honestly, this was more boring than Matt versus Jeff Hardy, because at least Matt versus Jeff Hardy had some form of intensity in it.
There
were ladders and shit in that match.
Yeah, that's kind of like the ranking I've seen. It's Brett and Owen, the Hardys, and then Jay and Jimmy.
No. Hold on. I'm gonna put it this way. Brett and Owen was a classic. It's a classic. It's way up here.
Yeah.
Matt and Jeff is like here because it still sucked. And
then we have the Usos.
And then the Usos are way under that.
For what this feud was supposed to be, this match just came off really vanilla.
Yeah. It did not pay off.
I feel like this is the first third of a match that didn't get the chance to happen. Like, this was like supposed to be the first 10 minutes, and then it starts building up, and then you go into like the final stretch. But it's like, no, we're giving you part 1 right now. It's like, but it's not a whole match. It's just them hitting each other. Like, they're just super kicking, and that's it. Like, so I hope that there's a match at Backlash where we can get a little more intensity. I want Jimmy to just fuck with Jay for the next few months, and then it's like, you know what? Fine, we'll do this in like a street fight or something like that.
Dip match, so be it. But like something. Come on.
Yeah.
I know both of them are capable of it. Is a thing.
I know they're capable of having an aggressive match, but for whatever reason, they just kind of went light.
Yeah, it was a very decaf match. You know, like
this match was chicken without the seasoning. Okay, this really was
salmonella on the grill.
Exactly.
So, and it's not like it was for time or anything, because there wasn't a lot of. Well, it might have been cut for time. We'll get to the last match here and how long it took between the bell of the match previously to the bell of this match. But moving on from the rather disappointing Uso match, hopefully part one of multiple matches, we get the 6 women tag team match. Not for the titles, surprisingly. Jade
Better that way.
Yeah, Jade, Bianca, and Naomi against Damage Control. This 8-minute match, I think, did what it needed to do, and that was showcase Jade.
Yes.
Because
this match did tell a story. It was the story of, everyone trying to get Jade into the ring.
Yeah, and when she got into the ring, she did everything she did in AEW. She basically squashed her opponents. I don't know if it's because they don't trust her to actually work a match yet, or if they just want to keep presenting her to be this monster. But this match did what it was supposed to do. Bianca and Naomi did most of the match, and then Jade finished it.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. Like, they know Jade Cargill have flaws coming into WWE. She was on AEW television a lot when she was a TBS champ, but I guess they're trying to polish her and refine her, and she comes off a lot better now than she did. But you can tell that she is still a work in progress, and she'll get there eventually. They're gonna get her there. But yeah, this match was basically just there to showcase her. Damage Control, they don't get enough credit for how they make people look good.
Oh yeah,
because Damage Control just went out there and they bumped their asses off, especially Dakota Kai. I think Dakota Kai seriously is so underrated. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Damage Control is great. Like, you have two very experienced, Joshi wrestlers. Dakota Kai has made a name for herself also in other promotions. They know what they're doing, and they knew I think it's right that, maybe it's not for the title, because it doesn't make sense to throw that onto Jade real quick.
Yeah, I'm all for strapping a rocket to Jade, but
these titles are just cursed too. Like, these are some cursed ass tag team titles. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm waiting for them to fucking do something with them, because it just never works out for anybody when they hold these.
Asuka sort of got hurt, so a couple weeks ago, but she's fine now.
I mean, there was the whole storyline of Alba Fire and her tag team partner like cursing the belts, and then they just never went with like that storyline after. They did pop up too. Like, they did pop up in one of their matches and like beat up Dakota Kai or something. And I'm like, where are the two redheads? Bring back the magical witches. Give me them. Like, I want that tag team. Like, it's like, I can fix her. I want her to be worse. Like, but that's the thing. It's like, I can fix the witches. I want them to be worse. So, but yeah,
one of them's injured.
Yeah, probably. I think we're kind of seeing like a big roster kind of reset for feuds and stuff like that, while they probably establish who's injured, what's the timeline, the draft's about to happen, so people will probably be shifted around.
Yeah, you're gonna start seeing some of the plans that they have at post draft. Who's going where they're gonna do with certain people. And
I think they announced that Braun is going to SmackDown.
Yeah, he was signed to SmackDown like a couple weeks ago, and he's going there full time now.
He's going to SmackDown. He had his send off on NXT yesterday after they lost
the titles. Yeah, and then they're like, you know what? Put Cross back in NXT. Fucking get him out of here. We'll talk about him on night 2. Like, they're just like, all right, send him fucking back. Just get him back in there. Like, it's just the Cross project is not working out for Trips. So,
oh god, I got some thoughts about that one, because it's so disappointing, really.
Continuing on night 1, we're in the final stretch of these 2 matches that are fucking bangers, and it starts with Sami Zayn versus Gunther. I still feel it should be Chad Gable. However, I will accept this for the match that it was, because it was a great match.
a great match.
It was one of the best matches of the weekend, honestly.
Sami Zayn reached in deep.
Talking about it. The entrance from the what is that? The Rocky reference.
Mm-hmm.
The entrance from Sami Zayn going to
Chad Gable telling him he can do it on his own.
To his wife and kid, to telling the kid
KO.
Go watch in the monitor, to KO
waiting
being
there.
the last stop before he goes out. And even the camera still following him as he kicks a one of those little rolly thingies and hypes himself up, and then his music hits and he gets out there and it made me believe before the match started.
That's another thing, and that's another thing I want to touch on as far as WWE's production as of late. That is one of my favorite things they're doing. This is like WWE is experimenting with new things. They're doing new camera angles. The one take entrance is my favorite thing they're doing right now because they're doing it in such a cinematic fashion, and you pretty much just follow Sami Zayn along on his journey, as he goes to the ring. And I thought that's a really cool way to transition from one place. No, they did it on Raw, actually.
They did it on Raw when Dominic was tending to Rhea and he pushed the camera aside and it instantly went to the...
And the camera went...
Yeah. I cannot believe Kevin Dunn was collecting a paycheck for as long as he has for half-assing that. My ass would have been fired.
It just makes you wonder what the fuck he was doing the whole time he was there. Especially the last 15 years.
Jesus
I just want Kevin Dunn to turn on his I just want Kevin Dunn to turn on his location because we could have been having that over 15 years. I just want him to turn on his location. I just want to talk.
Yeah, Kevin Dunn, if you're watching this, I'm on the way.
It's on site. But no, seriously though, it's like
the presentation is better.
It's just so much. It is just a breath of fresh air to watch WWE television now. And thank God we don't get that. Zoom in after every punch now that Kevin Dunn loved to do.
I've noticed it. Good.
We had there's the thing I like about it the most is actually that AEW started doing it. Yeah. Because they did this thing in one of the women's matches where the camera swooped around, went to the corner, and both wrestlers were there and they were looking right at the camera as they were getting their offense in, and it was like that for like a solid minute and a half.
They did that too, I think, on SmackDown last week. During the match, the camera was actively rotating the ring. Yeah. It just looks better. You can see everything. You can see the action clearer. I would sue Kevin Dunn if I was Triple H, and I'm like, I want all the money back that I was paying you for not doing a job. Like what the fuck?
I like it. Like I said, I like it because they're starting to do it in AEW because they're like, fuck, I could do that.
It's just
I just like that. I like that competitive aspect of both
presentation.
They do when one gets good, the other is forced to do better.
Yeah, the Sami Zayn
production matters.
Yeah, the Sami Zayn entrance also is played back on night 2 as well for Jay's entrance. No, it wasn't Jay's. It was somebody. Who was it? It was Kevin Owens, where he's there with the title, and where KO was standing. Sami's there with the title. He's like, go get him. And I was really hoping that KO would have won the title, but we'll see.
Now WWE still has a Logan Paul boner on, so we'll see how long that lasts.
Match was the most Rev Pro Ring of Honor style match I think Sami Zayn has worked a long time.
Complete with a brainbuster.
They didn't cut away from. You saw all of the action as he went down. It didn't cut away. It didn't do the stupid zoom in thing. It's you saw everything, and we haven't seen Sami pull out that move in fucking years.
He dug deep into the El Generico playbook on that one.
R.I.P. El Generico, died in Mexico.
Let's give Gunther his flowers.
Allegedly.
He brought prestige back to the IC title. Now we can only hope that everybody else treats it with the same, respect when it comes to matches.
Speaking of, we have I almost said El Generico. We have Sami Zayn, and what's his name? Little guy, wrestler for the IC title next week. Chad Gable.
Yeah. He's earned it. Like, I don't think Sammy's going to lose it, but I still feel like Chad Gable should have had this spot realistically.
Honestly, yeah.
It's just he's been their most consistent mid card guy for years. He's taken every stupid idea they've given him and he's gotten it over. He's a great wrestler. Him and Gunther have amazing chemistry based on their series of matches. Couldn't just do it this one time. Just give him one good title run.
I think his run is coming, but like I said, this is the new era, so I think Chad Gable is going to fit in well with this era of WWE as opposed to the Vince McMahon era because, Triple H does seem to have a deep respect for his talent and what they can do, and I think Chad Gable will come through eventually.
The man got Shorty G over.
I know.
He got Shoosh over. Like, give this man his flowers.
Hold on a sec. Shoosh got him over. Let's make that very
it's like
clear.
50-50. It's like 50-50.
Getting Shorty G over was a miracle in itself, too, by the way.
Getting Shorty G over was a miracle.
Yeah, it was a miracle.
It just he should have been Kurt Angle's son. Like, I'm just saying, he should have been Kurt Angle's son in that stupid storyline. But Vince wanted to be like, it's like Kurt Angle had a certain attraction to a particular type of woman.
Kurt Angle loves melanin. That's what we're gonna go with here.
And I'm like, but I'm looking at Chad Gable and I'm like, he actually looks like he could be his kid. Like, just
at least they paid that storyline off from 20 years ago.
They did, yeah. Weirdly, yes, I will give them their flowers for that.
I'm not. I'm just saying.
But the question now is, where does Gunther go from here? Because you're not going to throw him right into the world title picture to lose to Cody. So does he try to get the title back from Sammy at Backlash, or
Intercontinental Champion? Yeah, he's going to try to get his title back. Maybe a Backlash, setting up maybe a couple of other pay-per-views. But eventually, he does go into the world heavyweight title picture.
Yeah, I think ultimately he's the one that's going to take it off Damian Priest.
I think he will too.
8 months from now, a year from now, I think he'll be the one to finally.
The thing about the World Heavyweight Championship is that they put it on Seth Rollins to establish the belt.
Yeah.
All right, to establish it as a top title. And Seth Rollins was the right guy to build that title up. And now they're going to use what Seth Rollins' effort put forth in that title. They're going to use that to build new stars. And I think with Damian Priest, Gunther, they would be the first two right there, right off the bat. That should be champions right after that.
Look at people who have been the champion now. You've got Seth Rollins. I don't give a fuck what you say. You've got Drew McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are strong.
He has a 9-second reign. You are correct. Like,
yeah,
5 minutes 48 seconds.
5 minutes 48 seconds.
Like still. you have these workhorses that are there, and then you added another one with Damian Priest. Like, just keep them coming.
Yeah,
this is the workhorse title.
It just makes sense for Gunther to be in the world heavyweight title picture. Like, that's where I think his ultimate end game is. Well, that and the WWE Championship also, but that's for somewhere down the line.
I think where this goes from here is Drew McIntyre is going to try to get back into the picture, but I think CM Punk is going to keep getting involved. They're probably going to give them a feud without the World Heavyweight title as you focus on, Damian Priest and maybe somebody like LA Knight, depending on how the draft goes, stuff like that. So I think you will give them, or Damian Priest, people that are, believable opponents, and not just give him a bunch of squash matches to kind of establish it until you get to the point of, Gunther being the one, the last challenge. Maybe even Finn at some point, if Judgment Day ends up being split up or broken up for some reason. But I
can see Finn being champ.
Did y'all see where the rest of Judgment Day jumped Truth and Miz, and then Priest and
Priest and Rhea backed off and looked on like proud parents as the 3 kids beat up people.
Yep.
The Terror Twins is what they call themselves.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
So, I mean, the gold's right now in Judgment Day. the two top titles, at least for one show.
The men and the women's.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that develops, especially with the history of Judgment Day being you to kick out the guy who's, ahead of you. How they did with Edge and all that.
Yep.
Damian Priest is a great choice. We'll talk about it more on night 2. I think it's a huge middle finger to Drew, though, all things considered, with how much he has worked his ass off, and he was only champion during the pandemic. I feel like big, like, fuck you kind of thing, just to continue the Punk feud.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he actually resents it. I think it's just storyline.
No, it's definitely a storyline, but I can imagine, like, I don't know, it's this weird like thing to think about. It's like, that everything's scripted, that there's a plan in place.
Sure.
But do you still, as a person, feel like, man, I am busting my ass for this company? Or not?
No, because he's a 3-time, 4-time world champion now.
Yeah. It's kind of like I think it's kind of like how Malachi Black had to like get on like Instagram and be like, seeing all the shit. I'm a professional. I have a contract. I'm going to do my job. And, all this other shit. But I do feel like some wrestlers here are like, man, I've busted my ass and they're not giving me shit here.
And maybe he does need Adam.
I think Drew was like that when he was like 3-man banding.
Yeah.
But the Drew this day has worked his ass off in the independents and TNA, and wherever he had to go, and came back, made something of himself, and became now 3-time world champion. Whether or not he was in the pandemic or not, he beat Brock Lesnar. Like, how much more faith do you need in a man?
Yeah.
Also really glad Lesnar for a victory.
Also really glad this was, WrestleMania without Brock, all things considered. I'm glad that their match got canned.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we're going into a new era, the new era with Sami Zayn as IC champion. Interested to see where Gunther goes from here. His rise, I guess, maybe. I want to see it. He's probably gonna be more than him. Just like, I lost this title and I cannot live with that. And just probably seeing Gunther grow a little more, aggressive in the ring.
Did y'all see Paul Heyman's Hall of Fame induction?
I did not.
I did not, unfortunately. I'm gonna go back and watch it though.
I was afraid that Tommy Dreamer would shoot him, and I didn't want to watch. So
he hugged Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer didn't shoot him. He didn't.
No, Tommy Dreamer's not going to finish that story, Sharky.
We're not finishing 2 stories this weekend.
We're not finishing that story this weekend, nor ever.
So he has established himself as, how people have established themselves as Paul Heyman guys. Paul Heyman has established himself as a Paul Levesque guy, which tells me all I need to know about the faith that the company has in Triple H to move forward with talent. Whatever faults he might have for, sometimes not finding a dud, he's going to steer the ship.
Yeah. It's going to be, I have a little more faith in it too. Just in general, for at least the quality of wrestlers, jobs there. Like, they're not going to be told to do dumb shit. They're probably not going to have plans written up like at the last minute after, prepping all the shit for that they have to do. I think there's going to be a lot more
of like
a lot more consistency and stability. Yeah. So stability in storylines and more consistency in characters. We saw it here at WrestleMania. The baby faces are actually fucking intelligent for a change. Like, they actually use their fucking brain, and it was refreshing to see. So
that's one thing I do hope that continues in this era as well. Not booking dumb baby faces for once.
All right. So moving on to the last match.
Yes.
Moving on to the last match of
main event night one.
Between the end of Sami Zayn's match and the starting bell of this match was a half an hour. So
the match length itself is 44 minutes.
The match length itself is 44 minutes. So Sammy's match ended. We got some ads, and then all of the entrances started. And about 25 minutes later, the match started. So that's what we're dealing with in this match right now. 45 minutes is a good
long ass entrance. This is what we got.
45 minutes is a good amount of time for this match, all things considered. This was the Bloodline, which is The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins. Bloodline wins, which was surprising. Not unexpected.
Not really.
Like, not entirely unexpected, but there was the possibility of, hey, maybe Rock cost this for Roman kind of thing. You know? And this was also going to determine the stipulation for Roman and Cody's match, where if Roman wins, there's Bloodline rules, which means there are no rules. And if Cody had won, all members of the Bloodline would have been banned from ringside, which probably wouldn't have made a difference knowing wrestling. Yeah, this was, I guess, as WWE as you can get with these guys. I think we were all significantly sports entertained. So, what do you guys think about this match?
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on in this match.
One of my favorite things about this match was actually The Rock going down and like beating up Cody or whatever, and the out on the outside. I want to give The Rock some credit. He wasn't immediately gassed like 10 minutes into this match.
Oh, absolutely not. I was surprised too. I was like, I expected this man to be gassed out in like the first 10 or 15 minutes, but he.
Oh no, he had been training for this match. I guess for a while now. I guess something I read. He set up some kind of camp similar to like an MMA or UFC style camp. He just trained throughout that whole thing. So yeah, he'd been training.
He'd been training since like January, according to what he said on the scrum.
Yeah.
So it's not because all the training in the world can only do so much for you at 50 or however old Rocky is right now. So I want to give him props for that.
Yeah.
And then one of my favorite spots was when he was outside beating up Cody and the ref starts to count. He's like, don't you count. I'm the final boss. You know what the fuck I'm capable of.
Rock throwing around his weight as a TKO board member was a really good addition to this match.
Yes.
The Rock's like, you're not going to do shit. I'm calling the shots here.
I'm going to fucking fire you.
Yeah, and they even showed it when he low blowed Rollins. Even the ref was apologizing to Rollins. I can't do anything. But this had a lot of the usual staples we'd see. Cody cutters, which I still think is probably one of the worst looking moves to try to hit because the person taking it has to do all the movement.
And on top of it, it just depends on who does the Cody cutter as well. So, you see Will Ospreay doing it, he makes it look good. And I think that kid from what was that kid's name in NXT? It just debuted, but he was Jay Malachi in the Indies.
I saw that match.
Javante Evans.
Javon Evans, yeah, he does it. He does a pretty decent one as well. But like I said, it just depends on who does it and how they receive it. With Cody, it just kind of
he went against scripts, so I don't know what you want.
Yeah. So this is honestly a very back and forth for the most part. You had Cody giving the receipt to The Rock with the slap across the face to break up the sharpshooter. And it ultimately ends with Rock whipping Cody in the back at the end of the match. But during the match, Reigns does hit Rock with a spear after Rollins gets pulled aside, which I thought would be the
Tom and Jerry ass yell.
And then The Rock did those Tom and Jerry ass like noises, but I thought that would be the turning point in this match that could have led to Rhodes and Rollins winning. But it seems like the Bloodline is a little more on page than that.
It like bad guy TKO executive throwing his weight around The Rock, because I like it better than when most people do it. Because when most executives do it, it's Triple H, who is way out of shape already. It's Stephanie McMahon, who was never an active competitor. It's Vince McMahon, who was a bad competitor, or and I could list on and on and on. But The Rock is still theoretically able to get in the ring and perform decently, as evidenced by being able to perform in a 44-minute match without completely gassing.
Yeah. And then on top of that, like The Rock just coming in, it just seems like he does this as like an improv thing, where he just comes in, he just comes up off the top of the head with this. He's like, okay, I'm just gonna tell this guy I'm fired. Oh, he's gonna tell this guy I'm gonna fucking fire him in the middle of the match. And it's like it comes off a bit comedic and improv like, but he makes it work. And
yeah.
I don't know. I guess that's what happens when you've spent years in Hollywood. You pick up a few things.
I think this match establishes that maybe going for the third crossroad, Cody should not have his back to the ropes anymore, because either it's going to be a Samoan spike or a whip. Every time he goes for a 3 and he goes against the rope, something happens, and I wish he would have learned by now.
How many times do they have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Yeah, there was a cool moment of the double pedigree, and then the both of them trying to get the pin. But I think at the end of this, I was significantly sports entertained by this match.
I would agree. I was significantly sports entertained.
It was the kind of like match that had the pacing, had the antics that you would think a match like this would have. I don't think there was any run-ins in this match. I think they saved all of that for night 2. This was just straight Roman and Rock versus Rollins and Rhodes. Also, the second longest match in WrestleMania history. The first one is still Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels in '96. So,
that was a match. What are you gonna do about that?
Yeah, I mean that's that match. Like you're not. But yeah, and it ends with the Bloodline standing high, which means Bloodline rules, which means basically no disqualification. We could just call it no disqualification, but I want to give it a title, so
we'll call something else when we get to it. The way that match played out.
The way that they had booked this night, it had its lows, but it had its highs of highs. Like this was a great finish to night 1. And then day 2 happened, and I was like, oh shit, they had more in the tank. So
it's WrestleMania. Of course they got a lot more left in the tank.
Oh fuck me, right? It's WrestleMania. I forgot.
And by the way, like they started with Stand and Deliver, which that's probably one of the best NXT pay-per-views I've ever watched. Okay, that was their best effort right there. So they had plenty left in the tank for this.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I don't watch NXT
Shout out to
so much.
Perez for getting dub again.
I did see a clip from last night's NXT, and I want to know more about Tatum Paxley. So I guess I'm gonna watching her matches later.
Yeah,
like the crazy yandere wrestler.
That's all you need to know. She's been doing yandere stuff for the last 2 months.
So let's move into night 2, which starts with a very interesting series of events. The bell rings and Seth Rollins eats a Claymore, and I thought legitimately that was the end of the match. I thought they were just going to start it like that.
Yeah, night 2 started with the World Heavyweight Championship match.
It starts with so we start with let's paint the picture a little bit better here. It's the World Heavyweight Title match. CM Punk is on commentary. You have Seth Rollins, who last night took a beating, is coming into his match against Drew McIntyre.
Is opening after closing last night.
Yeah, opening after closing. Seth Rollins, the fucking workhorse. He's the workhorse of fucking WWE. He's like Moxley for AEW. He's the ace of WWE.
Yes.
And to count on him to do whatever you need him to fucking do, he'll do it. This match starts with the Claymore, and a part of me was like, holy shit, they're actually just going to take it off of him.
I thought they were through for a second. That's where it was going for me.
Perfectly fine with that. Just Claymore 1, 2, 3, get Rollins out of there, and then he cashes in.
So yeah, because this match went for 10 minutes, and it had a nice amount of back and forth. It is mostly Seth getting the shit kicked out of him. Multiple Claymores eaten during this match. It goes for 10 minutes. I feel like if you had just hit the Claymore and pinned him, we could have gotten like 5 minutes of Drew and CM Punk having a little back and forth instead of like the 2-minute beatdown that happens at the end of the match. And it would end the same way. Damian Priest finally cashing in after CM Punk beats up Drew McIntyre as he kind of weirdly sluts it out on the table a little. Like Drew's little like crawl across the table to CM Punk had me feeling some kind of way. Because I think that was all I saw. I think that's all I saw on Twitter. No, it's like when he got on his hands and knees and was like crawling towards him. Somebody on Twitter was like, why is he slutting it out like this? It was oddly sexual for some reason. But then again, you can't watch wrestling and it's expected to be completely straight sometimes.
The man's in his underwear. What do you want?
There's a bunch of men in their underwear hitting each other, and sometimes with Moxley you get him kissing another guy, so it's just whatever. It's hard to explain to people sometimes. But I already knew kind of where this angle was going, because the night before when they showed everything with CM Punk, he wasn't wearing the stupid arm brace. But he comes out to commentary with the arm brace on. And I'm like, okay. So
I saw him be a little inconsistent about it too. He didn't have it on during the Hall of Fame.
I don't think he needs it anymore. Like,
I don't think he does either.
So I think he was like, just, I'm in formal wear. It's a special occasion. I'm not going to wear my gimmick thing. But he wore out the commentary, and then he uses it to beat the shit out of Drew McIntyre in front of his wife, which was really funny. And it gave us a new meme template, because in the middle of this beatdown, the Judgment Day music hits, and Punk does the whole like turning to thing and then like smiles, and I'm like, that is such a good meme template. And I've started to see edits of it where the music hits and it's Hangman Page's music, and he turns to the ramp, and then you see like the cut of Hangman Page coming out on stage. And I'm like, oh, this is fantastic.
Good.
So yeah, from the end of the Seth Rollins match, which again, this match I think it was as long as it needed to be. Rollins was beat up. This was just Drew getting the title to
get him
spark the event that
take
happens.
A break, you earned it.
Yeah, it's like he's going to get the title, and then we're going to do the main thing we're starting tonight with. CM Punk beats him up in front of his wife. Damian Priest cashes in. There's referees that basically skips the cutscene, because if we remember, every time somebody decides to cash in, there's about 30 seconds of the ref asking, "Are you sure you want to do this?"
Oh yeah, they just completely skipped all that tonight. I guess they thought that part was ridiculous, so they just cut to the chase.
Yeah, he hit Drew McIntyre. The case almost went into the audience. Like that case went flying through the air.
That thing is lacquered.
He handed it to the ref. The ref said,
somebody would have called it.
Yeah, the ref said, okay.
Right,
he threw Drew McIntyre into the ring. The bell rang. Hit a very good choke slam on Drew McIntyre.
South of heaven, baby.
South of heaven. And 5 minutes after gaining the title, Drew McIntyre loses the title to Damian Priest. But then we get and CM Punk is sitting there on the table laughing and clapping
at him, like mocking Drew McIntyre. It's like, good job, buddy.
Going back to the Seth match, there was a moment while he's giving Seth an ass kicking that he gets his phone from his wife, and he's like typing something. And we didn't know what he was typing at the time, but then looking at his Twitter, he was apparently live tweeting in the middle of his match.
Well,
like, I'm bored at work. And then he after he gets cashed in on, like 15 minutes later, he follows it up with a quote retweet that just says "fuck." Like,
great.
And I'm like, I love Drew McIntyre so much.
Drew McIntyre.
Drew is he's one of my favorite characters.
Right? So in the first
goddamn troll,
the first 15 minutes of night 2, Rollins' reign ends. Drew finally gets the shit kicked out of him by CM Punk, and then loses the title, and we get a nice, very good image of Judgment Day holding 2 of the gold at the top of the WrestleMania stage. I mean, the last 2 years we keep singing praises of Damian Priest. This guy fucking deserves it. Like,
yes,
he's been an absolute role, man, since he joined Judgment Day. I mean, this Judgment Day was a career saver for Damian Priest. I really do think it was, because he's doing some of the best work of his career.
The Bad Bunny match, like, I think that solidified their trust in him. To have a celebrity have that good of a fucking match like him.
Oh yeah. So I really do think this was the right call also, because it just gives it gives us a new main eventer. Again, the World Heavyweight Championship was about building new main eventers. We got Damian Priest now. Eventually we're gonna get Gunther and whoever else decides to step up now, because the World Heavyweight Championship is going to be the key to creating new stars. Yeah. And I think that's what they need to do with that belt. So this was the right call for me.
I'm going to make a prediction now, because I think Triple H has a particular thing in mind. I think we're going to see Damian Priest have his reign, then Gunther have his reign. I think we might see Dragunov beat Gunther. I think he's going to strap a fucking rocket.
Is going to be, yeah. We already know that's what Dragunov's going to happen.
I think the moment Triple H has the ability to pull the trigger on putting a world title on Dragunov, he's going to.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I mean, the man squashed Shinsuke like on Monday.
That should be an indicator. That should tell you something right there. That
it's just like, oh, sweet, I got paid. Sweet, I got paid. Like, it's whatever.
He's like,
yeah. So the first 15 minutes of this night, just like it set the hype already. Like this was how the night was going to go with this kind of energy. And then it kind of didn't for match 3. I'm going to call it match 3. Technically, it's match 2 without the cash in.
Match 2.
The Pride versus the Final Testament, which I feel like is just Wish brand Judgment Day at this point.
The Final Testament.
Yeah, the Final Testament. I'm like, you have like 2 things that are literally almost identical in naming and theme.
Like the Authors of Pain is the problem I have here.
No, because Judgment Day is supposed to be the emo band, and I guess the Final Testament is supposed to be the death metal hardcore band.
Yeah.
Judgment Day is the emo core. Yeah, like they're the metal core band. They're the motionless and white.
Post-hardcore, metalcore.
Yeah. There you go. I don't think it's the fault of Authors of Pain. I think they've always been kind of limited. I've liked their presentation, and their opponents have really helped them. DIY and the Revival, carried them in that ladder match in NXT.
Yeah.
Karrion Kross, it's not going to work. The guy lost all his aura when Adam Cole cooked him in that promo. And then he lost to Jeff Hardy on his debut night.
With a gimp mask.
And
Lord Humongous.
Lord Humongous from Mad Max. I don't think he's ever going to recover from this.
Oh, don't. I think he's always been like this too, because there's the clip from, I guess, his one of his indie scenes where Minoru Suzuki is calling him a fucking young boy. Even Minoru Suzuki's like, you're a piece of shit and you have no aura to you.
Yeah, all of his mystique is gone. So they completely changed his interest, and now he just feels like another guy on the roster. I had so much high hopes for Karrion Kross too, because he looked like a certified main eventer at first. But
it's just
like I said, the whole presentation thing matters, and once he lost his presentation, thanks Adam Cole, baby.
Even when he came back, even when they took him off TV and he came back and his hair had grown out and everything, he lost his first feud back, and then he lost his second feud. And then it's just all this other shit, and I'm like, God, this guy's never gonna be higher than a mid-carder. He's not even in the mid of mid-card ranks. I feel bad for Lashley and the Street Profits for having to deal with this feud. The Street Profits could have been in that fucking 6-man tag match, the 6-team.
Snoop Dogg on commentary.
Snoop Dogg on commentary is actually what made this match watchable.
This was the best. That was honestly the best part of the match. Snoop Dogg just cracking jokes left and right.
Also, 8 minutes is a perfect time for this match, because I think more than this, I would have wanted to change the fucking channel.
Yeah. If it weren't for Snoop Dogg cracking jokes, especially about that one with the picnic over the table.
Yeah, it was a picnic table. I think it's just Snoop Dogg wasn't. He likes he likes wrestling. We know Snoop Dogg likes wrestling. He's been on WWE and AEW, I believe, more correctly.
Yep.
And he on commentary is like your friend who never watches wrestling trying to commentate wrestling.
Yep. It's accurate.
And I told my friend Josh when we were watching it, I'm like, he's just doing side quests in life at this point. Snoop Dogg.
Snoop's just that's just how he is on commentary. Because I remember when I was watching one of those Jake Paul pay-per-views, it was one of those. I think it was one of those Triller pay-per-views when we were doing the boxing and stuff. They had Snoop Dogg on commentary, and he was just going nuts. When Jake Paul won that fight, he was just yelling at the camera. He's like, "Where my money at, Dana? Dana, where's my money at?" I was like, this is just Snoop's personality in general. Okay, so I would have loved to see him be on commentary at least one more match, because that was the best part of the match. Other than that, I was completely bored with this.
We completely missed the reason to why he was on commentary. This was the WWE sponsored wrestling match of the night for Gin and Juice, Snoop Dogg's alcohol, which is why he was on commentary.
And Dr. Dre.
With Bubba Ray Dudley as guest referee for some fucking reason.
Because Philly ECW, that's why. Other than that, that was like that just
it's
an
ECW thing, and I'm like, I just fucking hate this guy. Honestly. Like,
man. He is a product of his time.
He really is. He also broke a table setting cross up.
That was funny.
Yeah.
This match, it's not as bad as the J Jimmy match, but this match was like, ooh, this is not a good showing for a lot of these guys right now.
It may not be as bad as Jimmy. It may not be as bad as Jimmy versus Jay, but it was right up there.
I will give a
close second.
We'll give a high point to B-Fab in this match. When she went through the table with Scarlett, it seems like she missed a lot of the table.
Mm-hmm.
But it still looked good. I just hope that she's okay from that landing.
Yeah.
After going through the table with Scarlett, though, it was funny that they both just continued laying there for the rest of the match. Like, Scarlett just did not move from between that broken
had a whole
table.
Conversation and shit while they were down there.
I think that they had the camera on. I think Scarlett was talking to somebody in the crowd, like at one point, like just laying down, like talking up to a fan. Yeah, this. If you started the night with this match, I think it would have given people like, oh, this is how we're starting. But I think this doesn't fit the pace of day one. Also, I think this is just kind of the match that has to happen on this spot.
Yeah.
Honestly,
this match has to happen.
It did pick up, though, after the match. But, I mean, I think we all can agree, like, this was not a good match on this card.
Mm-mm.
I just... Cross, man. I'm just like... I feel bad for the guy, because wrestling is a dream for people. But God, when nobody wants to tell you how bad you are at it, it has to be embarrassing to keep doing this to yourself. I mean, he's better than me. I could not step into a ring and do anything, but
I don't think Cross is bad per se. It's just the way they book him was just...
The way they book him is not helping his case.
It ain't helping at all.
You need to rebuild him. Like, you can't give him the same thing and just give him lackeys and expect it to all be fixed. No. I think there has to be a character shift, at least in his thinking of his character a little bit, and a way to portray it. Because you're right, he is just a guy now. He's just a heel on the roster. Nothing really sticking out about him.
Nothing really dynamic with him anymore. And I don't know. Like I said, I mostly blame his booking in the last couple years or so. You know, them trying to change him too many times. But they could have just stuck with what he was from the beginning.
They tried to, I think, like, comparing his TNA run, where he was Killer Cross and he was like the mercenary with like the body armor and like the shaved head and everything, you know, he actually had like some aura about him. But when you like bring him here and you're like trying to make him like this harbinger of doom that loses every one of his fucking feuds, it's just like, what are we doing here? Like, so hopefully with them back in NXT, the Street Profits and Lashley can move on to better things now. Street Profits deserve it. I think they deserve to be higher in the card. They're really treated. Those guys are just fantastic. But it does pick up because we move into a good singles match with two veterans of the industry. We have AJ Styles versus LA Knight. The battle of 2 initials and 6 digits in the last name. I like to joke about this every time they wrestle. And this was just a classic, like, just good singles match. These guys know how to wrestle a match with the time that they're given. We did get a new AJ presentation, though. I hate his new theme song. What do you guys think about it? Like,
I'm not a fan.
Heard it once. I don't have an opinion on it yet.
It's just there's like there's no energy.
Actually, it just seems like it seems vanilla to me.
It's a very vanilla heel theme.
The intention is to not have a good theme song to try to generate heat. But like I said,
man.
I've heard it once, so I don't always reserve judgment until I hear it again.
Character shitty or not, Baron Corbin still has one of the best fucking intro like
I'll
songs.
tell you,
I still listen to that
he-
shit sometimes. Like it's so
he
fucking
gets all the
good.
best themes. Damian Priest gets all the best themes. Although his recent one, the one he came out with on Raw, I kind of like that one.
Dude, I forgot we haven't had a chance to talk about it since then.
Different.
But every time Dominic Mysterio has a match and they do his little like AR hologram, I'm like, why is it a Cholo Reaper? Like with the fucking flannel. I'm like, why is it a Cholo Reaper? Like,
You guys have clearly do not know Latino culture. That's everywhere.
Becca, you are you're correct.
Like
white.
I know.
we didn't do.
The most Hispanic thing in my life is Chipotle. Like
I'm
That's not even-
I'm sorry for your
that's
loss.
that's not even really good.
Damn,
No,
Sharky.
it's not.
That's not.
It's a great
I need to
clip out of
fight you now.
context. Hey man, if we had better food trucks at work, I would love like more like authentic like tacos and stuff like that, but we don't. The only
I was gonna
burrito
say
place we have is like other. It's a burrito place that's like this is barbecue chicken, and I'm like, oh, not burrito. That's just a sandwich without the bread. Like, but yeah, for a 12-minute match, LA Knight and AJ Styles can put on a show. I mean, I think one of the better moves in this was that top rope German suplex. AJ got very close to landing on his head on that one, but he still landed
Yep.
kind of right with it.
LA Knight is like 40, 41 years old, and he still has like the athletic ability of a 25-year-old. So the dude is kept in fantastic shape his whole career.
Cardio.
Cardio.
That man is a cardio machine.
Yeah.
So
We keep
is
run-
Ilya, too.
We keep making me and my friend Josh keep making the joke. Every time we see LA Knight, we just think about that YouTube video. Yeah. Just the fat guy from GTA. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, I can only imagine LA Knight saying that shit. It just makes me laugh. Yeah, I think these two can, no matter what they're doing, whether it be a singles match or a title match or anything like that, I think these two will always have great chemistry. I was very entertained by this match.
I like that AJ Styles tried to come for Drew McIntyre's Hater of the Year award.
Yeah. That,
Honestly, that's still a three-way race between them two and Carmelo Hayes.
So Carmelo Hayes probably took it after this week.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think that's one of the things that got me about the build up to this, just going back to an episode that we weren't able to talk about. LA Knight shows up at his house.
Well, yeah.
And then they brawl and they don't show the brawl. Like the camera cuts out.
Well, they sort of show the ball, but it's like they do it from like the police cam. So it's like really blurry and you can't tell, you can barely tell what's going on. But
I'm like, bro,
Cinema.
Kevin Dunn's gone. Show me LA Knight being thrown across AJ Styles like couch or something. Like just AJ have told his wife like an hour before, we're going to destroy the living room. I'm sorry. And then just have them like wrestle in his house.
It's not their real house.
it's a set.
It's one of the many houses on the market that WWE owns and nobody else can get.
I would love it so much if they don't say, hey, they don't do the body cam thing. They do instead is there's a security camera in the top.
The ring cam footage.
The ring camera.
The ring cam footage.
There's just a straight up a security camera in the house because AJ is a paranoid fuck.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
No, don't put that past WWE. They might just use that eventually when they do another.
Good.
house invasion
I
thing.
want them to. So and then LA Knight tosses AJ Styles through the fucking cheap ass wood outside.
Yeah. It's just
That's what I want.
God. It's just I want more shit like that, but it's like I feel like it could have just been shot a little bit better.
Yeah, like I said, that's just them trying new things though. So I can dig it. I'm down with it.
I'm excited to see the experimental age of WWE as we get back into like some weird shit now that people are out of positions.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, Match number 5. Logan Paul with KO and Randy Orton, United States Championship. I'm surprised they kept it on Logan Paul. I thought he would have been kind of more of like a novelty event.
Oh no, they're for real with him.
They're for real committing him to being a member of the roster.
For real with him.
Also wrestling in the Prime sponsored ring. I think Logan Paul is just like, I'm going to get all of their money. They're going to pay me to be there, and they're going to pay me to be advertising.
They're going to pay me to be there, and they're going to pay me to be on there. So, yeah. I mean, smart from them.
This match, I think, played out perfectly. With, at the start of the match, KO and Randy just deciding to jump Logan Paul for most of the early few minutes of the match. Before, all the misunderstandings start happening. This was a Logan Paul mugging for the first 10 minutes or so of this match, and it was just really funny to watch. And then I was hoping KSI would be back. He was not. I'm not angry at who they had. I'm just kind of disappointed.
Oh, it is? I don't follow the streamers.
Yeah, that's you. It's iShowSpeed, who is
don't
just...
feel bad, neither do I.
It's iShowSpeed, who, as somebody who's on, more of the streaming side of things, it's just like that new generation of just obnoxious streamer.
Like, the only
loud, obnoxious, obviously faking it just to be annoying kind of guy.
Because the only thing I know about iShowSpeed is he got in some, I guess he got in a little bit of trouble because he was while live streaming one day and he was acting stupid and his dick popped out on cam. Yeah. That's all I remember. That's all I know.
Yeah, so it's like shit like that, and I was just like, okay, it's iShowSpeed. And then something really funny, at least to me, happened when he got kicked and the cap popped off the costume.
Funny as hell.
That whole sequence of Randy Orton was funny as hell because Randy Spartan kicks him.
Yeah, Randy Spartan kicks him, and iShowSpeed folds he got hit, and then the cap of the costume just pops off. And I was like, that's stupidly funny for no reason. And then he eats a pedigree, or he eats an RKO onto the announce table.
Right after Randy Orton barks at him.
Right after Randy Orton barks at him. And then he just kind don't lays there.
By that one.
And then he just kind of lays there.
I know that's what he was doing, but that I don't think you're allowed to do that, Randy.
Yeah, that's we'll see. I don't think it was intentional earlier in the match. I think it's a funny accident, though. I think they were trying to get the table to break with Logan Paul, and it just wouldn't. Because they slammed him on that table 3 times on the Spanish announce table, and it just does not give. And I'm wondering if this is scripted or if this is them actually ad-libbing. Because they're talking to each other do it again.
Yeah.
And that table just did not give, and I'm like, God, I hope that's just an ad lib. I hope this table was supposed to give, and these two are just comedic geniuses about this.
Either or. I think Randy Orton is low key really funny with his matches when he wants to be.
There was when he flipped the Bollywood boy over, and he landed on his head on the table, and he had the face. Yeah.
He's oh shit, my bad.
Randy can be really funny. Yeah, I do appreciate that about him. Again, I can hate how good Logan Paul is at this fucking wrestling thing. I hate that I am significantly entertained at his fucking matches. For as shitty of a person that he is. He retains. Pinning KO after getting Randy out of the ring.
The worst person just made a great point.
Yeah. Beginning of this match, KO's entrance, Sammy is there where KO was standing for his match. And that's why I was kind of hoping we'd have US title on KO so they could have titles together. But they are going full in on the mainstream appeal, I suppose, of Logan Paul. Or at least his area of culture appeal. You have Logan Paul, you're getting eyes on the product, better or worse. Like I said, I fucking hate Logan Paul. I'm still watching. There are tons of stupid little kids that love Logan Paul. I'm hoping that Jake Paul gets murdered by Mike Tyson in their boxing match.
So that's gonna be his brother Jake Paul, which most likely might happen.
Jake Paul, and Mike Tyson are going to box each other. And from all the videos that Tyson is putting out, I think he's preparing to kill a man.
Mike Tyson at 58 years old is still very dangerous.
And he said, this is not an exhibition. He says, this is not an exhibition. This is a fight. We will not be wearing protective headgear. And I'm like, he's going to actually kill Jake Paul. Like, that's the plan. This is premeditated. So I'm excited to watch that match. I'm excited to watch that boxing match.
I'm going to watch that match.
But yeah, Logan Paul, sponsor of WWE's WrestleMania through Prime, walks out of WrestleMania, still U.S. champion. Kind of wondering where we go from here. I guess he continues feuding with either of these guys, or they move on to a new feud with potentially an NXT call-up. I don't know.
Braun Breaker.
Yeah, probably Braun.
Hopefully.
Braun Breaker would break him in
I
half.
can see the U.S. title being Braun's first title.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he has the right presentation to be the U.S. title guy, because the way that I've always seen it, the IC title is kind of the workhorse title, but the US title has always been kind of just the presentation like title. And Braun does have it all from the looks of it. I think he'd be a perfect US champion as like a mid-card title before he gets into the world title pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, this was one of the most WWE matches with a celebrity. Can I even say celebrity? He's just a member of the roster. Like he signed a contract.
Yeah, he's a part of the roster.
He's just getting the best fucking deal out of it all. Like,
yeah, he's part of the roster.
Yeah. So yeah, interested to see how long they're going to keep the title on him. Actually, I'm gonna look at it right now. How long has he been?
When this champion?
Yeah.
100-something days now. Got to be.
November of 2023, he won the title. So we're going on was almost 6 months.
Almost 6 months, yeah.
That's not a bad reign. I think he could be losing it relatively soon. Maybe the next pay-per-view or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or a pay-per-view after. I don't think he's going to lose it on TV. I think he's going to lose it pay-per-view.
Yeah. He's been on the last 3 WWE 2Ks.
Yeah.
The last 2, including the one that just came out, on the main roster.
So somebody pointed out, Stand and Deliver, Julia was in attendance. It was also reported today that she has agreed to a contract, so she is probably officially signed with WWE now. Speaking of 2K, it was just like, it was just the 2K like developers like head in their hands, and it's like 2K developers when they realize Julia changes her hairstyle every month, like trying to figure out the perfect model to use.
Marty, and they figured something out with him.
Yeah, it was just one of those things. I was like, yeah,
I mean, Damon Priest effectively does the same thing. So I mean,
I did see that they have agreed to let Julia keep a lot of her moveset. So I think Trips is going to start relaxing on things, but I feel like Julia might. She's going to destroy some NXT trainees on her way up to the.
Yeah, Triple H kind of has. I think Triple H kind of has taken the handcuffs off of some of his talent lately. I mean, take a good look at Ricochet, for example. He's back to pretty much pre-WWE Ricochet with some of the stuff he's been doing lately.
Yeah.
I think he's going to let Julia do whatever she fucking wants to do, considering that he missed on like the last 5 free agents that hit the market. He's like, I got Julia. I got to keep her Julia. Like, that's... but it's going to be interesting to see where she is. I think she's going to be in NXT for a little while before they move her up, just to get her acclimated. Yeah, we'll see. She's a great performer, so they have a good worker in her, and I'm hoping that they treat her with all the respect that she deserves.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to match 6 out of 7. We finally get the payoff to Bayley versus Io Sky for the title. Bayley has a new entrance theme. and seemingly a new like theme to her outfit. She was trying to be Egyptian, and it threw me off a little bit.
The Princess of Persia.
I think she was trying to. I think she was referencing an anime, actually.
Maybe. She did get carried out by 4 dudes in masks. I'm glad the boys are getting work after being released from Ring of Honor. I said that to. I think I tweeted that in the Discord too. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm glad to see the boys are getting work. She looks great. Like the new ring gear looked great. The new theme kind of goes a little hard. I like the there was a guitar lick in the theme song that reminded me of something, and I just can't remember for the life of me what it was. I'll have to listen to it again and have it all come back to me.
Okay, I need to listen to it again.
Yeah, I was listening to the theme song and I'm like, this is from something. And I was like, I thought about it. I was like, oh, that's that. And it's just like one of those things. I was like, I don't know. It was just one of those things that like came to my mind. But this match is one of those matches that I think has the perfect amount of time, the perfect amount of showcasing for both people. Bayley was selling the leg injury really well. They had a story in this match of, you know, the leg, stuff like that. Is the rose plant a new move for her? Or is okay? Because
actually she's been using that, and she's been using that since the Indies. Okay. I think she just stopped using it for a while when she first got to WWE, but for the last couple of years, well, ever since she turned heel, she's been using the rose plant as a finisher.
So there was the moment of the rose plant just being straight up countered by Io being flippy, which I think is what got the crowd really into like the last half of this match.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like an over the top spot fest. There was a lot of good in ring work, and ultimately Bayley gets it. She gets her WrestleMania moment. She gets the title, and yeah. A simple women's title match for the most part. But Bayley comes out with a new presentation. I'm excited to see where, you know, the new babyface Bayley goes.
The crowd still loves her, obviously. You know, they would change.
I'm looking forward to seeing her as the role model, but as a good guy instead of as a heel.
Yeah. It's been a very organic, like getting back to that after the betrayal of Damage Control and all that too. Like there's been a very believable face turn again, which I can appreciate. I'm glad there was no shenanigans with Damage Control coming out.
They lost yesterday, so they're not allowed to.
Yeah, so it's just one-on-one, mano-a-mano, and yeah, Bayley gets her big WrestleMania moment. Io was a great women's champion. They did a really good pivot to her, you know, after that Puerto Rico, you know, response to her. Like they're like, oh, people really like Io Sky. Like, let's strap the rocket to her from this point on.
They did the right thing giving it to her, and then they did the right thing transitioning away from her.
Yeah. So not much to really say about this. I think this just falls under like the list of matches that's like, this is a pretty by the book, but
it's a very competent match.
Very competently wrestled match by two very experienced, you know, wrestling individuals that have good chemistry with one another. So that's all I really need. Just do you know how to wrestle and can you work together? And it's like, yep.
And sometimes that's really
a good match.
Yeah, sometimes that's just really all you need with a match like this. You know, the story was already built between the betrayal and all that. So the crowd was already into it. You know, they just kind of like gave them the end result.
Yeah, there was a story. The crowd was invested. Bayley came out looking like $1 million with her new presentation. Yep. Io, even in loss, is probably going to be incredibly popular still. So.
Also, as a reminder, Io Sky killed people in Lucha Underground.
I was like, Bayley's not going to be able to handle this because Io Sky is the only woman in that ring right now that has taken a chop from Pentagon. So, yeah. I'm glad we didn't get any run-in shenanigans for Bayley and Io, though, because they saved all of that for this match. Going into this match, I think we all agreed this is going to be the most comedically overbooked match we have ever seen.
Yeah, I told you guys this, and I was right. It was, but this was incredibly fun to watch, though.
This was the most sports entertained I have been in a long time, because they did all of that shit in 30 minutes. Like a 30-minute.
The last 10 minutes of the match.
The last 10 minutes of the match just went fucking nuts. But I think Roman knew like what this was, and Roman put on his wrestling shoes, because this man worked his ass off in this ring for a change.
They gave him a really epic orchestral entrance too, by the way, because I want to try to find a version of that song. So that was one of my favorite new themes of the weekend.
Yeah, so what? Cody came out with the Triple H skull like as his fucking design.
Yeah, and then his neck tattoo. That's what he came out with.
It looked like a Triple H fucking skull mask. It was so funny. But he came out, he had Brandy with him. First time she's on WWE TV.
Skeletor Cody.
Yeah, so, and then he goes to the ring, and then the in-person orchestra and chorus starts for Roman. And there was a moment I'm like, oh fuck, Cody's losing. Like they're giving this man the full phase 2 video game like intro, and I'm like, oh, Cody's losing this match. That's what's happening tonight. And I mean, like I said, Roman wrestled his fucking ass off this match. It wasn't his usual, spear, Superman punch. He was doing like hooked leg suplexes. He was hitting like different kinds of slams. Like Roman was actually wrestling his ass off.
This was not your typical Roman Reigns match in general. And it started off a lot faster than I expected it to, because I know Cody was trying to look for like tables and stuff under the ring. They got it going from the beginning, and that was the right. I think that was a good call for them to just go right at it. Continue where they left off from night one.
Yep, I think that was a good call too.
Yeah, we had multiple crossroads, Superman punches. Roman hit a crossroads and had a really funny, like, speaking to himself moment on camera where he says, that move sucks. Like, he says, like, that move, it's like, that move sucks. That move ain't beat anybody, I think is what he says, like, to himself.
She kicked out. No one's like, that's not a good move.
It's so funny that the most protected finisher in this fucking industry is the one-winged angel. Like, only 2 people have kicked out of it, and one of them was Cody, or one of them was Kenny when Ospreay did it to him. Like, the only other person to kick out a one-winged angel was Kota Ibushi.
That's it.
So yeah, the world of protected finishers. I think that was just really funny for Roman to call it out like that. When did this? It was like, what, 20 minutes into an actually good wrestling match, the bullshit starts.
And it
starts with Jimmy. Jimmy comes in, Roman tells him to, handle Cody, and Jey Uso's music hits. And I'm like, they're doing it. The Cody Vengers are going to assemble. We're going to get Jay and Sammy and KO. Everybody who he's helped is going to return the favor. And then Jimmy and Jay's involvement lasts for about 40 seconds before he gets speared off the stage through a table.
Yeah, like both of them.
And then Jimmy,
the table like a bunch of weird boxes because I couldn't tell.
They went off and it was 2 tables.
Yeah.
It was 2 tables under like the tarp. And then Jay and Jimmy disappear from the match. They are out of the equation. We then get the classic thing that happened last year of going for the 3rd crossroads, and then Solo Sikoa arrives and hits him with a Simone Spike. And we're like, oh shit. And then Cena's music hits. And I was like,
that storyline from last year. Let's go.
Oh, the storyline from last year continues. The one guy that Solo has beat in his last 35 matches. Because Solo's record's like 0-34, I think, between show and house show matches or some shit. Like, he just has not won a match since Cena. Cena comes in, beats him up, gives an attitude adjustment to Roman, and then puts Solo through a table. And then the great camera work comes back as rock music hits, or as Rock's theme hits, and it does like the Cena with the stage behind him. And it's just like, Rock arrives.
Look back.
Yeah, The Rock arrives, takes out John Cena, paying that off, and we're all expecting Stone Cold. Because who else would you pull for a rival of The Rock besides another Attitude Era legend? They had an amazing feud through the Attitude Era. But they picked the second best because if you look back on it, Undertaker has hated a lot of members of this family throughout the years.
Yeah, that's true.
The gong hits, the fucking stadium and the living room I was in go nuts. And it's not the Undertaker as we know the Undertaker. It is the Undertaker looking like he just got out of the gym. He's in a hoodie. He's in a beanie. He's not in costume. He's not in character.
Man, I don't know what you want anymore.
He just walked right out of Crunch Fitness.
Yeah. Undertaker arrives, lays out The Rock, and then apparently disappears with The Rock from what it looked like. Like he chokeslams him, the lights go out, and then when lights come back on, The Rock and Undertaker are gone.
Oh, and we get Seth Rollins. Also,
got to accept shit.
Also, and this is probably the funniest moment. This is where I laugh my ass off too. The Shield music plays at some point.
So okay, so that was before. Yes, that was before Undertaker. The Rock comes out
before the Undertaker,
and then the Shield music hits, and there was a brief moment where I think all of us were like, "They got Moxley.
They got Moxley. They fucking got
Moxley." That's what I thought initially.
That was the fanboy in me, so invested in the moment. I'm like, Seth actually fucking pulled Moxley in to end Roman's thing, but they do what they did with AJ Styles at the Rumble, where it focuses on The Rock, and you don't really see AJ or Seth at all until he gets Superman punched and laid out by Roman.
Yeah, because like the next thing you know, because the thing is, while it focuses on, you just see Roman dart across the screen. And then when they pan the camera back out, Seth Rollins is laid out.
He's there with a chair, and he just gets Superman punched and laid out. But he's in full Shield gear.
Seth Rollins really just got murked off camera, didn't he?
Yeah.
I was
the Shield gear.
Laughing almost.
Yeah, the Shield version of Rollins, though, plays a factor in the finish of this match. It is a great payoff to just fucking years of this rivalry. That's when the Undertaker hits. Chokeslams The Rock, and somebody posted it's like, this man fought Yokozuna, Umaga, Rikishi during the Attitude Era. This man hates that family. And Roman, last man standing after all of these run-ins. There are just bodies around ringside at this point. Roman picks up the chair, looks to Cody, looks to Seth, and then hits Seth with the chair like Seth did to him years ago. And turning around, gets caught by Cody, eats more Crossroads, takes the pin. And it is perfect. Rollins promised to be his Shield. Like, it's...
Seth kept his word.
Oh, he kept his word.
Every storyline, every long-form storyline that, you know, they pulled from. So they pulled from, like, even... You can go to The Rock versus who was it in that Iron Man match with Shawn Michaels as the referee, where American Badass debuted.
Yeah, like it was a bunch of history. I think it was a bunch of history. You had Undertaker and The Rock from the Attitude Era. You had Rock and Cena, who I think have only done 2 matches together.
Yeah, both in WrestleMania 10 years ago.
We never got the third match.
2012, 2013, excuse me.
You had the solo Cena storyline, but the main players in this were Cody, Seth, and Roman at the end of it. And Roman could just not let go of the trauma that Seth gave him 10 years ago.
Seth Rollins is the Joker to Roman's Batman. And that's pretty much all you know with these two.
He said he'd be his shield. Mind games. He knew Roman would hit him and give Cody an opening.
Mm-hmm.
It was the perfect finish, I think, to this match. And Roman was so good, like, doing the character work for it. Seth looked weak as shit, like, trying to get back to his feet, his back turned to him. Everybody played their part, and goddamn, this was, like, the best Night 2 match to end a WrestleMania.
Cinema.
This was cinema. The Scorsese. Cinema. Like,
cinema.
A lot of people were comparing this to the Avengers Endgame, and I think that probably a perfect analogy for this.
It kind of was.
And then the Cody Avengers came out after.
Then all the other people that were just watching Cody get his ass kicked come out to help lift him up. You do get the Cody Avengers of Randy Orton, LA Knight, Sammy, KO. They all come out to celebrate. Jay's, I believe, there too after recovering from the table spot.
It's giving when Sting won the WCW World Heavyweight Championship.
It was given when Sting won. It was given when Bret Hart won, I think, too. Like they did the whole like on the shoulders thing. KO and Sammy help Seth like to his feet because Seth looks fucking beat up after this weekend.
Yeah, he's going on a short break.
Not just like hurt, because obviously he's hurt. He worked 2.5 matches over the course of a weekend.
Yeah.
But he's also like emotionally invested as well. Like you see when they are zooming in on him when they're picking him up, he's like straight up crying.
Yeah, and they have the moment of Cody like leaning out the ropes to shake his hand and everything, and it's like you start this whole thing with Cody coming back and having 3 matches where he just beats Rollins in all of them. And then the story wraps up to Rollins being the one to get Cody the big win. Like, it's just perfect.
A whole bunch of storylines just came full circle in this. And they wrapped them all up in a nice, pretty bow, too. And they figured out a way to connect all of them together. That's good storytelling in pro wrestling right there. And that's good writing. I love it.
It's fantastic. It was a fantastic finish. And the thing is, kudos. This was the last one for the network. It seems fitting to start a new era for the next WrestleMania where you're going to be on a new service. You're going to be on Netflix. Now you have all the time to build up to your first big, Netflix event for WrestleMania with this whole new era that they've established.
I got to pay for Netflix again. Damn. That's all right.
I also want to give Samantha Irving her flowers.
Samantha Irving, man, so good.
Just fucking killed it both nights.
Absolutely.
And there been a bunch of people giving her shit online about how she announces stuff. And I'm like, just let her be a fan. Let her be emotional. Just let her be great and shut up.
That makes it better.
Yeah. It just makes it so much better that she's actually doing it.
It gives the gravitas to the situation at hand when someone suddenly cashes in and she's like, oh shit. And she's right there with the fans.
I think
let that woman be great. And y'all just need to go run some soap on you or something. I don't know.
I saw a report. I saw a report. I don't think they told Samantha that Damian would be cashing in. So I think that's her legitimate.
That's
probably didn't.
Yeah.
I think they want her to represent what the crowd is going through.
There was a moment, you don't see it on the event itself, but there was, Twitter videos from people who were at the venue. We got to give it to Roman for everything that he's done. I mean, we started growing tired of the title reign, but
you were very vocal about it.
I was very vocal about it, but I mean, he did establish a title that now is going to be carried on. But while everybody's focusing on Cody, people have recorded video at the top of the ramp, Roman is giving Paul Heyman like a hug and everything. And it's like, Roman's probably going to disappear until SummerSlam, maybe get involved with The Rock for that match without the title now. Because more than likely, Rock and Cody is the Backlash event. So it's Roman also, I think, battling leukemia again. He deserves a break. He's carried this company on his back for a while.
For 3 years?
Seth
1,316 days.
Seth deserves his fucking flowers and a break. I'm glad that Moxley was able to finally get his break. There was the stat that I posted in the Discord. Like, this is the first time since 2020.
January 3rd of 2020.
That none of the Shield members held a title in any promotion.
Yep.
Like, it's wild. These guys are kind of like, you guys are part of the industry for what they did. Like, it's wild. But yeah, we're in more than likely what they're going to call the Renaissance era, because that is what Cody Rhodes has trademarked. So And I hope it is. I hope this is a renaissance era for all of wrestling. I hope whatever's going on with AEW and the footage is actual CM Punk footage. I hope we get back to 90s shit talking each other. Like, I want 90s wrestling back. Like,
the problem is they picked the wrong person because CM Punk is famously litigious.
Well, Tony Khan has billions of dollars. So unless TKO is fronting the bill, I don't think Punk's going to be able to fight this one. But yeah, this was a fantastic WrestleMania.
We say every fucking pay-per-view, whether it's AEW, whether it's WWE, wrestling is good right now.
Wrestling is
whatever
good.
Whatever you want to watch, whatever preferences you have, whatever predilections you have, watch it. If you see someone recommend a good match to you, and just because it's not in your fed, it's still a good match. It's just, someone else's, stuff.
Most of these guys are also friends. Most of these guys are also friends. So like the only people bitching is you, the internet. Like,
like,
yeah, this was a fantastic WrestleMania. It really was.
It was amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah, man. Like,
if this is the first WrestleMania, this is the first WrestleMania in the Triple H era. Just imagine what new ideas he's going to put forth going forward with this event and other pay-per-views.
I can only hope.
I'm really excited about it.
I can only hope that this upcoming Backlash is better than the other Backlash that we talked about. No, it wasn't the Backlash. The Backlash that we talked about previously was the Puerto Rico one. That one was pretty good.
Yeah.
There was a pay-per-view that I think we were like, man, this was bad. And I'm hoping that when we get to that one for this year, we can say like this one was good too. Like,
see, I don't think they announced every pay-per-view for the year.
I can do a quick look. 2024.
I don't think they have.
I know they're doing the pay-per-view in France.
So we have okay. So here's a complete list of 2024s for. All right, so in May we have Backlash, which is going to be in France.
That one.
The France one's probably going to be interesting to try to cover because it's a different time zone. So we might not be able to watch it live.
Americans, y'all gonna have to get up early in the morning for this one.
The 25th.
What do you mean?
The May 4th is Backlash. May 25th is King of the Ring, which we're not going to watch because it is Saudi Arabia. June 15th is Clash at the Castle, which is probably going to have the Punk McIntyre match if they finally have it.
Most likely. Either that, Drew's probably going to win the title again there. So
Money in the Bank in July, SummerSlam in August, and at the end of August, Bash in Berlin, which is also a different time zone. So we'll figure out how to. So yeah, we have up until August. I'll figure it out. So it's gonna be fun. I think
your favorite promotion. Don't bitch about everyone else's.
I think also we're going to have an episode prior to May though. Because I'm pretty sure Dynasty.
Yeah, Dynasty's on the 21st.
Yeah, Dynasty is this month. So yeah, the 21st is AEW Dynasty. And then Double or Nothing is May. May's going to be a busy month.
Yep. In more ways than one in my case.
Well, it's going to have 2 episodes. We're going to have Backlash and Double or Nothing. But yeah, wrestling is starting to be on fire again. I'm glad that people are shit talking each other again, and I'm glad that we're getting jokes like the Dijak one earlier. People are clowning. People are starting to clown on each other, and I'm like, just more of it, please.
Just keep it going.
Like,
keep it going.
Like Dijak tweets that out, and CM Punk's already backstage throwing hands. So
CM Punk's already.
Yeah. But wrestling is in a great fucking place right now, and I'm really happy that I've rediscovered it at this point in my life. So, it'll be good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that was WrestleMania 40. 40 years of WrestleMania. And goddamn, what a good fucking event.
Here's the next 40.
Goes to the next 40. Cody's story now begins. So we'll see what happens there. Anything you guys want to leave on?
That's it. Watch what you like. Don't, as fans, don't trash other people's shit. Let the wrestlers trash each other.
Unless you are
trash other fans.
You're not financially being paid by either of these promotions. Don't stop gagging on the cock. You don't have to do it anymore. Like,
right. And one more thing though, like, I've waited a long time, almost 20 years for wrestling to get back to this point. I think this is a fantastic thing in general.
Yep.
Yeah.
But finally, we got two big companies. We got WWE thriving and breaking sales records and all sorts of other attendance records.
Side note about attendance records.
Oh boy.
Just because
the same 75,000 people.
So they did a thing. It's like, here's our total weekend attendance of 144,000. And I'm like, a lot of these people are the same. They just bought 2-day tickets. What the fuck are you talking about?
WrestleMania it's basically a Comic-Con, but that's besides the point. The point is,
then say ticket sales, not attendance. Like,
no.
But that's besides the point. The point being is that wrestling is in a fantastic spot right now. And I think under this new era, and as soon as AEW manages to, go through their growing pains and sort everything out, it's going to get a lot bigger. We're going to get right back to the mainstream. Okay? We're going to start getting casuals again. More people are going to start rediscovering wrestling more than ever. And I, for one, am excited about that because it took a long time to get back to this point. You're talking about over 20 years.
Yeah.
Hopefully this time around we've learned from past mistakes.
I would rather watch 2024 wrestling than 2014 wrestling or 2004 wrestling. Like,
or 2008 wrestling is specific.
2008 wrestling specifically, yeah.
Yeah, I would rather watch. Everybody can say like a wrestling's like, there's like good company, bad company. I'm like, I'd rather watch both companies than the shit that we were watching in 2010 or like 2010.
Yeah.
Like, let's not go back to that.
Let's not.
But yeah, fantastic show. Looking forward to the next event. And yeah, we'll keep the audience waiting until then. Is there really? I was about to say, is there really nothing before May? And then I remembered we're in April. For some reason, my brain thought we were in February. So I'm like, where's all the shit between February and May?
Time is a soup.
Time is a soup, and it's spelling ooh. Lois, there's a message in my cereal that says, ooh, those are Cheerios.
Christ, that's old.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite, like, simple jokes in that fucking show, though. Okay, everybody, thanks for watching. If you want to see how we got to this point, you can watch some of the backlog. We have a WrestleMania 39 episode where Rubber Chicken happens. So you can see how we got from WrestleMania 39 to here by watching all those episodes.
I'm sad nobody threw Rubber Chicken.
If you want if you kind of want the abridged Cody Rhodes story. But yeah, we will see you guys in May with the back-to-back episodes for the month. And yeah, catch you all around. Later, everybody.
Bye everybody.